Welcome to this tutorial where I'll be showing you how to type on a path in Photoshop. Now most of you are familiar with working on a path in Illustrator if you do use Illustrator, but you can also do the same effect with Photoshop by simply using the type tool and the pen tool. Alright, let's get started. Firstly, we've got to get rid of this layer. We don't need that anymore. And let's create a new layer and call it type. I always like to name my layers because it gets quite confusing when you have more than one layer going. So what we're going to do now is firstly we're going to type on just on a curved path, and later on we'll move on to a circle just to show you the basic ideas. So I'm working on a Mac and I'm going to be using keyboard shortcuts as indicated by tip tool there. It says for the pen tool I need to press the letter P. So for now I'll just press on the pen tool, bring it over to my window, and then make sure my layer is selected, and then I'll just make a path over here. Alright, once we've done that, what we need to do now is select our type tool. Now once we hover over the path, you notice that the icon for the pen tool actually changes. It gains another wavy line in it. That shows us that the cursor is now going to type on a path. So I'm pressing the command key because I just want to move the circle out and increase the area within which I will type. Okay, let's start. Let's say we're going to typing on a path. Typing on a path in Photoshop. Now, as you can see, I kept on typing, but nothing was actually happening, and we also have a spelling mistake over there, which will give us the opportunity to look at how to edit such things once you've typed on your path. But first, let's expose the rest of our typing. So if you hold on your command key, and then you go over the circle, and then you just drag that circle out, holding down your mouse button and your command key. Once you let go, there we have it, typing on a path in Photoshop. But we need to correct that. So what we'll do is I'll just bring down my cursor by holding one of my arrow keys, the back arrow key, and we need to get rid of that N, nope, and the P. And we need to put a P over here. Now, you might see that your path is still showing and you might want to get rid of it. So if you go above here to these panels, you have your layers. That's where we're at now. You've got channels. We don't need those. You've got paths. And what we're going to do is just deselect that. As you can see, the path disappears. If we select it again, it appears once more. So that's how you deal with getting rid of the path showing in your window. We go back to our layers panel and we just hide that for now. Let's create another layer and choose the Marquee tool. And as you can see, it's got the circle already selected. But if you're not familiar with it, if you just right click hovering over that circle, you can then get an option of more marquees to make. We're just going to go with the circle for now. That's great. So to create a perfect circle, I'm going to hold down my shift key and then just drag it out to where I want it. There we have it. Now, what we have here is a selection with marching ants, but what we'd like to have is a path. So we're going to convert these marching ants into a path. How you do that? Right click, and then you just move down to make path. Ask you for tolerance, that's okay. And once again, like we did in the last tutorial, in the last section of this tutorial actually, as you can see, my cursor changes. I've selected my text tool, and I'm just going to place it about there, and then start typing. Let's say circling around. There we have it. And now what you can do, you can actually then go to your move tool and you can move it about. But what I would like to do is change that so that it comes all the way around. There are two ways of doing that. You could press Command T, which is for your transform, or let me just undo that. And or you could go into your edits, transform path, and then what I want to do is rotate it. I'm just going to rotate that path, and then click enter, and the text will follow. So that's one way of doing it. Or you could go back into your type tool, press T on your keyboard, or select it in your tools panel, and then you just click anywhere within the type. Then I'm going to bring it to the beginning and just move that where I want it. You might also want to change the scale of it. So what I'll do is just select it all. Once selected, you can then go into your values and just change the size of it. Or you could just simply go over the T over here, hold your mouse button down, then drag it left, drag it right, and there you have it. That's typing on a circle in Photoshop. Pretty easy to do using your text tool and your pen tool. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial. You can go ahead and experiment and play around with it. Remember, it's all about experimentation and playing around in Photoshop. You can then go ahead and add effects to your type and all sorts of things, whatever you want to do with it. You can even add a shadow to it. Let's drop that down a bit. Alright, there we go.